number 1, we're okay where those numbers came from? Okay, case number 2, so we're going to keep Jill, not have Jack. Okay, so there's 1 Jill. We need her. Can't have Jack, so out of our 8, how many are left? Oh, we never filled this one in. There were 6. How many more did we need to pick if we have Jack on our committee? 4. And so this one's going to be the identical situation. This time we can't have Jack, can't have Jill, so there's 6 people left. But how many do we need to pick if we picked nobody yet? 5. Again, don't put a 1C1 into your calc, but use the calc for the 64 and 65. I was saying I felt bad I left them hanging period 2. They probably were just so worried about Jack and Jill they couldn't concentrate on anything. Do I have an offer for 6415? Looking for confirmation?
Yeah.
Obviously the same for the second one. And a 6C5. Confirm. Total? 36. Okay, so there's not together with a combination, which is obviously done very different than with a permutation. Let's switch to some cards. Who are the poker players in the house? Nobody? No one's played poker at all? Oh, okie dokie. Field trip to where? Yeah, which most of you can't get in. Just a little review of a deck of cards off to the side in case you're not familiar. How many suits?
4.
What are they? Ooh, I just need my buck pen. Spades. Clubs. Diamonds. Hearts. How many are there of each suit? 13, 13, 13, 13. Total in a deck of cards? Assuming no jokers, no wild cards, nothing going on. Out of the 13 in each suit, what are there? There's an ace.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No 10. Oh, 2 through 10, yes. Jack, king, queen. Okay, so 3 face cards, the ace, and the 2 through the 10. How many of each of those are there in the deck? So how many aces, how many kings, how many 5s, how many 6s? 4. What culture invented cards? So how long have cards been around? This is where you just guess and we have some fun. Greek is always a good guess because they're one of the ancient, but no, it was
I'm going to say like Middle Age.
Rome is always the second guess, so it's Italy. Nope, wrong part of the world. High five to you, China. It was China. And then the Greeks stole them and claimed them as their own, and that's why we think it's European, but it's not. So you don't need to understand poker to play this or to answer this question. It's just you need to know you're picking 5 cards. Okay, so part A is just straight up how many different hands are possible. Okay? Again, resist the urge to do the blanks. What your brain is going to want to do is put 5 blanks and start filling them in. No blanks with comps. How many cards are there, and how many do we need to choose? There's 52 in the deck, and we need to choose. Close the door, please. And we need to choose 5. I missed the first part, sorry. 2 million?
Yep.
It's almost over 2.5 million. What's the top hand in poker, if anyone knows their poker hands?
Full house.
Full house or something. It'd be lots of things that beat that, actually. What's the ultimate top? Royal flush. What makes a royal flush? of all the same suits, and the ace. So the ace through the 10 of the same suit. So there are 4 possibilities out of 2.5 million. This is why I don't gamble. How many of the hands have 3 kings? Okay, so we want 3 kings and 2 other cards. Would you like to play poker? Oh, I'd like to play poker. Sure. We're going to pick them separately. We're going to pick the 3 kings, and then we're going to pick the 2 others. So just like we picked Jack and Jill separately, and then we pick the others. How many kings are in the deck? And how many of them do we want? How many others? So how many non-kings are in the deck? Well, 4 kings, and there's 52 cards. How many non-kings are there?
48.
And how many of them do we want to round out our hand? Add these or multiply them, and why?
Multiply because it's and.
Do you need the kings or 2 other cards, or the kings and 2 other cards? So it's multiply. Confirm? Okay, so this is really no different than picking people. We just have more things to choose from. Part C, how many of the hands have no face cards? What is considered a face card? A card with a face on it. So face cards are the kings, I heard somebody say. The kings, the queens, and the jacks. Okay, well, how many non-face cards are in the deck? Well, let's go. How many kings are there? We said 4. How many queens? 4. How many jacks? So how many kings, queens, jacks? So how many non-kings, queen, jacks are there?
40.
And how many of them do we want to pick? 5. Okay, no blanks, no really fancy stuff going on. Combinations are pretty straightforward. Sorry, I missed the last part. Just 8. Confirm?
Yep.
There's hands of cards. Ooh, let's go on to some more gambling. The Lotto 649. Do you have to be 18 to buy lottery tickets?
Yeah.
Really?
No, wait. Just kidding, yeah. You can, but someone can buy them for you.
But I don't think you can claim the prize if you're underage. I don't know. Anyway, if you've probably heard of the Lotto 649, it's as simple as that. There's numbers 1 to 49 that's in a draw, and they pick 6 of them. You match all 6, you win. Okay, so 1 to 49. So this one assumes that no one can have the same 6 set of numbers, which isn't true in the real world, but for our case, we want to know how many different tickets can be sold. The Lotto 649. What do you think? Blanks? No blanks because it's a combination. Why is it a combination? Right, if they pull out the 5, then the 1, then the 16, then whatever, does it matter? No, they put them in numerical order to publish them, but it's irrelevant how they come out of the bin or the bucket or whatever. So you always have to ask yourself the combinations. How many do you have? How many do you want? So how many do we have to choose from? How many are we actually choosing? How many numbers are there? And how many do we want to choose? That's it. It's a 49C6. $16? And that was 398? So the probability of being struck by lightning is 1 in 600,000.
Isn't it 13? It's 13.
Could you say that like a mathematician, please?
13,983,000.
Better? Okay, so the probability of being struck by lightning is 1 in 600,000. So how many more times are you likely to be struck by lightning than to win the Lotto 649? How many more times are you more likely to be struck by lightning than to win the Lotto 649. Offer of 23. So you would need to be struck 23 times by lightning and survive to win the Lotto 649. This is why I don't gamble. And that's assuming nobody has the same combination of numbers as you, but if people can just pick any 6 numbers they want, could someone have the same combination? Yes. The only reason is we have a staff pool here, and the only reason I play is because I'm not going to teach all of you if we win. It's the only reason. It's peer pressure. Now, who wins lotteries more, men or women? Just waiting for Hunter, though, because he's talking away, not listening to us. Who's more likely to win? Who wins the lottery more, men or women? Men. It is men. Who is more likely to be struck by lightning, men or women? Men. So women, what are we doing when it's lightning outside? Yeah, we're inside watching. Boys, let's go back to exponential functions. What are boys doing when it is lightning outside? Running outside in the rain. Golfing, which, what are you holding in your hand when you're golfing?
That makes it so much more fun.
A metal rod with the plastic thing on the end.
A metal rod. Or they like to stand under trees. And trees are the highest thing usually and get struck by lightning. Just re-emphasizes boys do dumb things in grids, that's all. Yep. Yep. Back to these kinds of questions that we did with permutations. Same steps as before. What was the first step? Put it into the formula. So XC3 is going to become confirm. Okay, equals 84. What was step number 2? I did. Okay, so you want to break it down. What's going to be larger, x or x minus 3? Okay, so let's start breaking it down. It's like we didn't even do this last week. X times x minus 1. Why do I want to stop there? Okay. Sure. Is 3 factorial a number? What's it equal to? Okay. If we don't want it on the bottom, what do we have to do with it? Multiply it. Offer of 504. Okay. Yay, cubic! By the way, 7 days of classes left to your exam. 7, just saying 7. How do we solve a cubic?
Grab
If it was calculator, we could do it graphically. Let's assume that it's not. Okay, so it's probably not going to be 1. Why not?
Because you have 504.
Okay, so use a bit of logic. It's probably going to be bigger than 3, because we know n has to be bigger than r. So use some logic. Kelsey, don't scream it out. Give you a couple minutes to solve the cubic.